So inside of the 16 motivators, what I call the 16 whys, okay, because this is why we do what we do, I've identified 14 of them that directly impact why we play. But there are two that I call the outliers, and that's eating and food. Okay, we all have the need to eat, to survive. All of the 16 whys are all about survival. Okay, so eating, we need to eat. Some people it's high, it's low, but it's not necessarily why we play. Right? Now, children play with their food, certainly, but it's not directly related to why we would play. Now, on the other hand, if someone's high eating, this would be a great reward. I mean, when you achieve, let's say your group wins, or you reach a level, you get lunch for the team, or a free lunch for you directly. See, eating as a motivator would be a great reward. Now, that wouldn't really motivate someone who is low motivated eating. Family, same thing. Let's say the reward is flex time, so now you get to leave at 3 o'clock. Well, someone who's high motivated family can now go to their child's football game. Okay, so that's where we're looking at these two. Like I said, they're outliers. I'll go through these relatively quickly here because we can cycle back around to them. Why would someone want to play life? Okay, now life, for those of you that haven't played it, it's just a game. It's a board game. You spin the wheel, then you move wherever it is, and then you're on that spot. And then because of that, you go through life. So you may go to school, you may go to college, you may get a degree, you may get a job, you get children, you get nicer cars, and so on. Maybe acceptance, because you'd be complying with something, might work in this way. Certainly not curiosity. If you're highly motivated by curious, you could read the game board and you could see all the stops along the way. Okay, so it'd be very, very easy if you're high curious to learn the game maybe in 10 minutes. Expediency, there's not a way to really to game the system here. The rules are defined. You have to do what you do. You have to play a role, and so on. There's no way to really get ahead. Idealism, maybe because it's about life, interdependence, playing against each other. Order, it's very ordered, it's very prescribed, you know where you're going, and there's no physical activity, there's no real use of power, there's no willpower, there's nothing really to overcome. Savings, maybe you get to collect children along the way. Social contact, of course you're working with people. Status, you're building status, you're moving up, you're getting mansions and so on. Tranquility, it's pretty safe, but vengeance, it's really hard to really win at this game. Okay, versus Othello over there, acceptance, probably not. Curiosity, certainly. How can we do better? What's a better strategy? Expediency, because we're going to win. What's the most efficient way, effective way to get to my goal? Now, there's still very defined rules. We don't have the ability to cheat or cut corners with Othello. Interdependence, order, it's got squares and so on. Power, because we are dominant. It takes a lot of willpower to succeed in Othello. It takes a lot of work, a lot of concentration. Savings, social contact, status. I don't know if there's much status, but certainly for vengeance, because there is a very, very clear winner. And as the game winds down, not only do you win, you wipe them out. And so you don't just win like, oh, well, look, I won. No, you win. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So let's get back to self-hugging here. See, the concept is we'll create games that we enjoy, and we assume that everybody else does. So for instance, when we go through that list, the reason I didn't like the game of life is because there was no way for me to win, to dominate, to work hard through everything. Okay, I just was not able to do that. It was all up to chance. Someone else decided what the game board was, and then I'd spin the little dial, and then that's what determined if I went and if I won or didn't win. Okay, so for me, there's no pleasure in that because there's no way for me to win this game based on my own wit, certainly via chance. So on the other side of it, if I'm going through and I'm creating programs for other people, right, and this is where self-hugging comes in for those of us in gamification, if I'm creating programs for other people, I'm going to create games that I enjoy. And this is where we talk about blind spots. And this becomes where most of the time we fail as designers. Again, looking at me, where I would fail is I would create a program that has way too much reading, way too much information, because I'm high curious. Most people are low curious, or average to low curious. And so I would tend to create things that people would bore them, they would check out. I'm high expediency. My blind spot here is how important tradition is to certain people. Rules are important to a lot of people, not to me. Idealism, blind spot would be people might want me to appeal to a higher cause. They might want to say that, well, instead of just focusing on work, what else is out there? Look at that interdependence. That one's a big one. I don't like working in groups. Groups frustrate me. I would tend to create programs that did not involve working with others, certainly not teamwork. And yet that's very, very important to gamification. So that's a huge blind spot for me. Order, low order. So I would create environments that don't have a lot of structure. People like structure. They like to know where they're headed. And so that would be a huge blind spot for me. I'd create programs that would not be effective for other people. Hopefully by now what you're getting is the sense it's our blind spots that cause the issues and problems for us.